What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back on a very, very scorching hot 4th of July. I don't know where you guys live. Here in the States, everybody celebrates 4th of July by paying a lot of money for bright, sparkly, loud things that give you about 30 seconds of pleasure. And no, I'm not talking about your husband, ladies. I'm talking about fireworks. Everybody loves fireworks. I don't know why. I never really got that into fireworks. My dogs hate them. It is what it is. But I'm sure we'll be up all night listening to fireworks. But happy 4th of July if you are in the States and you do celebrate that sort of thing. But that's what we do here. We make hot dogs, we shoot fireworks, we drink beer. That's pretty much America in a nutshell. So welcome back, though. Glad to have you guys back on a Man United News Roundup. Hope everybody's enjoying their week. Hopefully, maybe in the States you've got the day off. If not, sorry. And if you do work, I hope it's not outside because it is baking today. But today it is talking, we're talking strikers. Yesterday, today it is wingers. We thought maybe we would see a bit of news. Maybe, but we did kind of, right? But it's not a signing. It's exits. Obviously we're talking about the big Manchester United fire sale that's supposedly going on. And I want your opinion. So be sure to vote in that poll as we go along as well. I want to know what you guys think about some of that. And then, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Memberships are the best way to get more involved in the content on the channel. And today, too, if everyone's kind of been on the fence or something, I did hook you guys up with a 4th of July sale at the United vs. Everybody store. But it is one day only, 25% off everything in the UVE store. And don't forget that from now until August, when the charity fundraiser ends for the Animal Welfare Foundation that my wife is a part of, everything that you purchase in the UVE store, everything that you get from memberships, super chats, all that stuff, that goes towards that as well. So keep that in mind. Again, never any pressure, but just so you know, that's what we're doing. That's the pledge I made a couple last month when this started. But yes, last day for 25% off. The link to the store is in the description of the video, so make sure you go check that out. Let's dive into the news. Let me check, as always, to see who we got going on here in the chat. Yes, as Danny says, big up, Danny. Hit that like button on the way in. Please do. Does help the channel. Does help more people get involved. Love seeing all the new faces these last few weeks. It's been great to see the channel growing. I think we're like 20 something away from 22.5K subscribers, which is awesome. I would love to get 3K before the season starts. I'm going to put that challenge out for everybody, but we'll see how it goes. But as always, if anybody, drops a new membership or anything on the channel today, I'll go ahead and give away a couple memberships as well. Danny says the fireworks are going off. Oh, geez. I don't remember, you live in Boston, right? So I don't know what time it is in Boston because I schooled in America. I don't know those things. But it's only 6:00 here. It's still bright out. I can't imagine. Isn't part of it, the appeal is to see them? You want to see them at night, right? So, but yes, happy Independence Day. Yes, that is what we do here. But big up, everyone. So Ben Jacobs dropped a huge bomba today. Can we say bomba if it's Ben Jacobs? Is that only an Ornstein thing? Ben Jacobs is going to have to come up with his own. I wonder if that's like a branding thing. I'm sure Fabrizio Romano, he's got a podcast called Here We Go. Do we think that was the whole point? Or is it just something that happened? But maybe I wonder if he's got that trademarked or copyrighted, that phrase. You can do that. So it's interesting. But huge claim coming from Ben Jacobs today is that apparently, and I'm going to struggle not to laugh during this because this is just so funny. Apparently, Marcus Rashford, Anthony, Alejandro Garnacho, Tyrell Malacia, and Jadon Sancho apparently all informed United that they wish to leave the club. They are putting their foot down. They have made the decision. They have reflected. They've had some introspection. They've decided, you know what? It's best for us if we leave Manchester United. Apparently, according to Jacobs, the club's understanding of their position and have then delayed the player's return date until late in July to help them explore other solutions. So they're not exactly being welcomed back to Carrington with open arms. They're being told, you don't have to bother coming back. And why don't you just go away? But they do have access to medical facilities and physio rehab facilities, should they wish to come in and use them. Basically, they're not part of the squad anymore. And they can't train with the rest of the United team. But if they have medical needs, physio needs, they'll be taken care of, is basically what that means. It's hard to laugh because I'm Haven't you basically been told in one way or another by Amorim and the club that you're no longer wanted here? Like, your services are no longer required. I told you I'd love to have that job. Just go in and tell these players, get the fuck out, bitch. You're done. Let's not pretend for 1 second that this was their decision to leave. You know, it's been clear for months. I mean, they've all been on loans and whatnot. Garnacho not used, been disciplined many times, that they're not in Amorim's plans. It's just the writing's on the wall. This is like someone ghosting you for months, like not responding, not doing anything. And then all of a sudden you turn around months later and we're like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. They've not been talking to you for 3 months, pal. Or like trying to quit after your boss fires you or something. Like, I quit. You can't fire me. Like, okay, cool. Have it your way. I don't really care what's going on. This is just ridiculous, but just get them gone ASAP. That's all I care about. They just need to go. Honestly, and like, it's going to sound mean. I just tell Rashford and Sancho to get fucked. Like, I'm done with those two. They've both just been absolutely disgraceful. Garnacho is pushing it too. He's a little younger, so I don't like to be that mean to people who are, young. But dude, Rashford, I'm so I mean, Sancho, let him go train with Chelsea if he wants to. Like, they granted him his freedom. Let him go use their medical facilities. Let him go use their physio room. He loved it there. He was all sorts of happy about that. And Rashford, again, I've said it the other day. Like, I'm just so frustrated and disappointed and angry with Rashford. Just not because of the Henry Winter interview. It's because of everything positive up until that point. Like, Mancunian, academy grad, like came through the academy, 10 years in the first team, debut was 10 years ago. Giving him that number 10 shirt, which has been worn by legends of this club. Giving him that new contract a few years ago after he had that bust out season. And let me remind you, Rashford, you're not watching, but let me remind everybody that the club fully and publicly supported you and backed you when you went head to head with the government. The club donated hundreds of thousands to that cause because they fully supported. The club stood by your side, behind your back, and in front of you at times to make sure that you were protected when you went head to head with the government. Now, some people say, yeah, that was a bit of a distraction. The club went to battle with you, man. They were your ride or die in that, and you turned around and did what you did, man. And so that is all why I'm so frustrated with Rashford. It shouldn't have gone this way. He didn't have to do what he did. If he wanted to get out of the club, a club that he claims to love so much, there was no reason to give an unsanctioned interview with Henry Winter. He could have kept it behind closed doors. But no, he had to protect his image. He had to make sure that he saved face, because all of it was talking about why he got dropped from the Derby, and then he had to come out and try to take control of this narrative. And that's what this is. People say it's money. People say it's agents, it's player. It's PR. It's people wanting to save face. It's people wanting to not look bad. That's what's ruining a lot of this stuff. And this is a perfect example of that. God forbid he looks bad. Same with Jadon Sancho. Eric Ten Hag, why wasn't Sancho in the squad today? Well, we didn't see what we really wanted to see from him in training, so we just didn't use him today. Sancho coming out saying he's been scapegoated. Like, it's absolute horseshit, man. I'm tired of this shit, dude. But that's why I'm more frustrated with Rashford than anyone else, because I hold him to a higher standard, I guess, with all that other stuff in mind. And Brian Mbeumo, take note. If you want to join United that badly, man, you don't want to see this drag on, you want to just get this done, put in a transfer request, right? Expedite that process. Help us out here, brother, because you see the shit that we got to deal with. But it's annoying. I don't know what you guys think about that. I put a poll in the chat here, and you guys let me know what you think here, who's voting here. I asked, how much do you think we could get for all 5 of those players, for Rashford, for Antony, for Garnacho, for Sancho, Malacia? Total, how much do you think those players would bring in? I gave you 4 options, so only 2 votes, guys. Make sure you're getting in the votes. 50-50. Some of you, so you guys say, okay, 3 votes. There you go. Well, it's not helping because now it's evenly split. But so one person looks like is voting for more than 140 million, greater than or equal to. That's what that means. Someone else said 120 to 135 million, 90 million. Well, break down what you think you might get for each of these players in the chat for me, so I understand where you're coming from. I'll break down what I think too. Make sure you're liking the video too, you guys. So Rashford, I'm going to guess between 30, 40 million, depending on how that looks. Garnacho, we've got to get at least like 50 million. Maybe I would say I could easily see the club though taking like 45 plus add-ons for Garnacho, but really we should be asking for more than that if you're looking at how much some of these other randos are getting purchased for. So you're looking at low end like 75 for Rashford and Garnacho. High end, I'd be saying you're looking at like 95 to 100 million if you want to go the 60-40 million route. So that's a big difference there. Malacia, maybe 5, 6, 7 million for Malacia, if that. I could see that going a Van de Beek route where you're going to get like a couple million, and then there's going to be like a ton of add-ons later on. Anthony, what do you think? Like 25 for Anthony, maybe 25, 30, depending on who purchases him. I just forgot math all of a sudden. So maybe like 30 million, maybe like, so we're looking at about 100, 105, 110 million so far between just 4 of those guys. And then you got Sancho, who maybe 20, 25 million for Sancho. So you're looking at maybe like 135, combined for all that. And that's like the lower end. So I would say maybe between 125 to 145 million or so. What are you guys saying? Danny says Sancho 15 after we pay. I forgot about that little factor. Good catch there. That makes sense now. So maybe we got to do that. And then do we count like the Elanga sell on in there too? 15 after you pay him off, 25, 30. So we're looking at like 45, 95, 2 million. So looking at like 120-ish. Yeah, I mean, it is a nice little chunk of change. That is literally the money we would get just from these players. That pretty much funds that summer budget rebuild video I did last month, because I only spent like 120, 125 million in that video. And that was before I even sold players. That was just going on the budget that we went into the summer with. If you guys remember that video, a lot of that video is moot now because some of these players have made transfers since. Joan Garcia went to Barcelona. He who will not be named could be going to AC Milan. I don't want to talk about it. Give me a minute. All right, we're good. You know who I'm talking about. Don't say his name. I'll ban you. I'll ban you like that. And then some other players in there. So Jonathan David was in there as well. But Danny says, sell Garnacho 40 with a good sell-on clause. Yeah, I could definitely see us getting a lower number and then having a bit of sell-ons in there. Big up, Box. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well on this 4th of July, wherever you happen to be. You might not celebrate it, but you never know. I don't know where everybody's from, but big up, man. So I don't know what you could expect to get from all these players. Box, let me know what you think you might get for each of these players if you're getting involved in that. You want to play that little game. Box says we need 32 million for Anthony to beat FFP. Yeah. I mean, maybe I could see us maybe getting like 25, 27 with some add-ons or something, but on Sancho and Anthony, I've pretty much already called that a loss from the moment we signed them. Honestly, they were never going to make anything back on that. So, and you might make up for it with Rashford and stuff, and Garnacho, that would help. So, what are you going to do? But I hear you. I definitely hear you. On Rashford, a little bit of news kind of related to him. So apparently, I don't know if you guys saw the news. Nico Williams has been in the news in the last couple of weeks. Is he going to Barcelona? Is he not? They signed Rooney Bargi. What's going on with Nico Williams? He wants to go to Barcelona. Well, apparently he has signed a new contract with Athletic Club Bilbao for the next 10 motherfucking years. This guy is signed for them for 2035 with a brand new release clause. Barca just weren't going to be able to register him, according to Sky Sports and Florian Plettenberg. I don't know why they thought they could. Like, no one's falling for it anymore, Barcelona. You're losing your appeal to players who actually maybe have half a brain. And I do think Nico Williams has half a brain because of just your very public issues with PSR and FFP and all the finances. Plus, you're going head to head with the literal president of La Liga. You're being investigated. You can't register players, then you're appealing, and then you're appealing. You have to sell. You got to get Travis Scott to sign some jerseys just to make a couple grand. Like, it's all out there. Like, people can see it. So I don't know what they thought. And it's not just about winning or losing on the pitch that, players are starting to pick up on. It's the shit like that, the circus. It's, I wouldn't be surprised if that's a reason why so many players or coaches might have given us a wide berth. Jurgen Klopp famously, when we went for him a long time ago, he famously said, it's just the way the club is run. It's more of a business. It's not going to appeal to that. So it is what it is. Apparently Bayern Munich made an offer to a couple offers, and Nico Williams turned that down. So Rashford could have either a Bayern Munich, if Bayern Munich are making offers for Nico Williams, if Barcelona are making an offer for Nico Williams, and he turned them both down. Both clubs, it sounds like, are still looking for a left-sided attacker. Barcelona could be looking at Luis Diaz at Liverpool. He might be their first option, according to some outlets, but that is Rashford's dream. Maybe this whole thing keeps Rashford's Barcelona dream alive. I don't know. What do you guys think, man? What's going on? Shahid, welcome. Garnacho to Chelsea. We'll see, man. We'll see. Chelsea are just, you never know. Arsenal need a left-sided attacker too. Maybe he can go to Arsenal, man. Danny says if Chelsea want Garnacho, it's 70 million. Yeah, we'll just turn to them and say, listen, you paid, I don't remember, how much did they pay for Mudryk? Someone tell me here. Mudryk price. Look at that. I Googled it once before. Up to 89 million. Initial fee of 62 million plus 27 million in potential add-ons. Fuck me, that's ridiculous. Who's in Todd Bowling needs to be committed to a freaking asylum. So they put down the marker though. They spent 62 million plus potential 27 million, adding up to almost 90 million on a player who literally had a couple dozen first team appearances in his entire career. And that's insane to me. That's literally insane to me. I don't understand that at all. Box says 25 million for Sancho. 5 million for Malacia, 60 million for Garnacho, Rashford 45 million, Antony 35 million. I think you might have to knock off like 10 to 15 million for those last two personally, but up to 170 million. I mean, it's ambitious. I mean, if with good negotiators, you might be able to get that with add-ons and stuff. I like your optimism, like Danny says. Yes. You keep us leveled, Box, because a lot of us are very pessimistic and very negative, and then you kind of remind us that there are some silver linings out there. You got to really, really, really want to see them, but they're there, and that's why we love you, man. But big up. So hopefully we'll see. We have to get them gone. I don't know. Sometimes the part of me, like the cynic in me, looks at these kind of stories, right? This Ben Jacobs thing, all these players asked, like, no, they didn't. Like, let's be honest. But I wonder, like, okay, who is this rumor helping then? Okay, let's say, like, who is this help if Ben Jacobs writes that these players asked after it's been very public? Like, you can't just, like, they all got sent out. Like, that's just aside from Garnacho. Garnacho's always been disciplined. He's been left out of matches. He came on for like 15, 20 minutes in the final. And we know he's got disciplinary issues. Like, it's all public that these players themselves have either not wanted or they've had spats with not only Amorim but other managers in the past too. So is this just, PR for the player and their agents to try to like get back a little bit of some sort of leverage or some sort of power? I don't know what that could be. That's like sometimes this is how you have to look at some rumors. Like, who does this rumor benefit, right? Who looks the best in this? And then you can go back and forth by picking that apart like a Thanksgiving turkey to try to figure out every single perspective, possible angle you can. But who does this rumor kind of benefit, do you think? I want to know what you think. So Box says more realistically, probably get Sancho 20 million, Malacia 2.5 million. And I see but I would go in that between like that 125, 135, 140 route. I think honestly, I do think you could, especially with Real Betis. I think it's been very clear that Real Betis want Antony. I think you could probably push them to spend a little bit more. Plus, we know that they just sold a couple players and got a big chunk of change. So I think that you could definitely. It's odd. It's going to be so funny if Antony ends up being the one we get the most money for this summer, but probably going to be Garnacho because his wages are literally a quarter of what Antony's on. So he definitely is appeals. Box says should be at least 120 million. Yeah, what's everybody saying here in the chat? So it's still split here between 120, 135, and 90. So you guys are kind of landing somewhere between 90 to 135. It's a big gap, but tried to spread it out as much as I could. The YouTube only lets you pick 4, so had to go back to my old math days and find the greater than or equal to symbols and the less than or equal to symbols. Thought you guys thought you escaped that shit, didn't you, when you graduated high school? Nope. Sorry, we're taking it back. Throwback. It's hot. Mm-mm. Let me see here. But according to his Barcelona dream, it could not be a thing, though, because this is what Fabrizio Romano had to say it again. So he said, Man United also confirmed Rashford's representatives were informed that Matheus Cunha could be taking his number 10 shirt. It's definitely over between United and Rashford. His dream is a Barcelona moves as priority for his future. Yeah, so he's losing his number 10 shirt as well. Ben Jacobs added to this as well. He said, United informed Rashford in advance that Cunha was going to be given number 10. Rashford understanding as he is exploring a move away, exit viewed as suiting all parties. Rashford's preference remains Barcelona. We know Rashford's dream is a play for Barcelona. We know that. But that 10, and we said this when we were signing Cunha, like he's probably going to get that 10 shirt. Like he just is. I read that, I forget who this was from. It could have been another Ben Jacobs thing, but like apparently Rashford was told like not even 24 hours ago or like 24 hours ago that he was going to be losing the number 10 shirt. Like, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is. Go ask other players how it feels to get the shirts taken. It happens. Martial lost his number 9 when Lukaku showed up. I don't know why Martial is complaining. Number 11 is not a bad number, but what you going to do? But Rashford losing that 10 shirt, we kind of all saw that coming, right? I mean, let's be honest. Did anyone think that wasn't going to happen? I literally said this was going to happen to Cavani when we signed Ronaldo, and everybody, all these people were online. This is before I had the channel. All these people were online we're like, come on, that's ridiculous. And I'm like, the dude literally has a trademarked logo of CR7. He's coming back to the club where he got that number in the first place. He's not going to not have the number 7 shirt. And lo and behold, Cavani got that number 21 and Ronaldo took back the number 7. And I know that had something to do with Jadon Sancho too, because we know Jadon Sancho wanted that number, but you don't just get it. But Danny says, Mount next. Yes, please. Please. If Mount could stay fit, it wouldn't be like horrible. Like I could see him maybe being a leader on the pitch, but he just can't stay fit. And it just is what it is. It just is what it is. But yeah, Shahid agrees. Sell Mount. Yeah. So 5 players, all kind of wide players. Malacia kind of thrown in there. Honestly, I think a lot of us forgot Malacia was even part of this club. I mean, he didn't play for like 500 days or some shit. Malacia. He just never was good enough, was he? Like, I know that he looked young. He's older than a lot of people think he is, Malacia. Same as Collier. Collier is older than a lot of people realize. Collier is, 21 now? He's not like he's this little academy youngster, Collier. And then Malacia, Ten Hag loved Malacia when he was still managing Ajax. So we knew like that that's how Ten Hag kind of operated, right? He did the same thing with Mount. And he liked Mount because Mount went on loan to Vitesse several years ago. Ten Hag liked him there. And that's kind of what Ten Hag does, which isn't necessarily bad, but I don't think for Ajax, those players would have been fine, but this is United. You can dream a little bigger, sweetheart. If you guys have seen Inception, like it's not, there's levels to this stuff, man. But Samuel, big up, man. Tyrone Malacia would suit Crystal Palace. Yeah. Cause didn't Tyreek Mitchell, isn't he for free? Did he end up leaving for free? I can't remember. I know Crystal Palace, there's a long list of players who supposedly were leaving for free. I can't keep track of who ended up renewing or not. I have to go check that list again, because I was looking at guys like Anguissa and stuff. Kyle Walker-Peters wouldn't have been a bad shout. I still forget we've got Diogo Dalot dicking around still. Shahi says Danny Mount 2 season wasted. 2 season and like a lot of money wasted too, Shahi. We spent a lot of money on a guy going into the final year of his contract. And I just still to this day, that's unforgivable, Mason Mount. No offense to him, but like, dude, your injuries should have been the first and only red flag that anybody needed to see to just avoid that transfer like the plague. Let you go to like Fulham or something on loan for a year or whatever, and let them sign you and see how it goes, and see if you can stay fit. But it was just not good. Danny says, hopefully someone like Rangers. I'm surprised Eindhoven didn't exercise. Maybe he can go back to Feyenoord or something and just kind of forget the last 4 years ever happened, or 3 years. Because remember, he was signed Ten Hag's first summer window, and then that was it. Merged all she freaking wrote. So, but Rashford, yes, losing the number 10 shirt, it sounds like, from a couple of big names today. So, Interesting. Yeah, get involved in that chat, that poll. I want to see what you guys think because we're going to move on a little bit here to the next bit of news. Let me just take this off the screen a little bit. There we go. Boom, boom. So Sancho, as we're sticking with some of these players who need to get out of the club, Sancho's move to Juventus has been kind of gathering momentum, right? And then we've seen a little back and forth. Fenerbahce, are they in? Are they out? No, they're not. It is what it is. But not only has just that move that rose rumors about a move to Juventus been gathering steam, but also that's been gathering steam is this rumor of a potential swap link included in that deal. So we saw earlier this week that Juventus were reportedly trying to swap Dusan Vlahovic or Douglas Luiz for Jadon Sancho to try to get that done. And then Sancho needed to lower his wages. But according to Corriere dello Sport, Juventus have narrowed it down to one option that they want to swap with. So this is what the outlet claims, is that Juventus have proposed a swap to Manchester United. Sancho to Juventus, Douglas Luiz to Manchester United. Sancho has only Juventus in his mind and is willing to take a pay cut. That's the first time I've really heard that he's willing to take a pay cut. Remember, last week it was all like he doesn't want to take a pay cut. He's happy to run down his contract, all that shit. But now it looks like maybe he's ready to take a pay cut. So you don't reportedly tell the club that you're ready to leave unless you've got, interested parties. And so it's not up to United to figure out what to do with these players. It's up to them and their agents. All we can do is just get them the fuck out and make it as uncomfortable as we can so they get out of here. But what do you guys think of this deal? I would take Douglas Luiz at United in a heartbeat, if not for those hamstring issues, man. He's missed like 20 matches last season, and those dreaded hamstring issues that he struggled with a couple of years ago at Aston Villa have recently popped back up, which, I avoid the hamstring injury-prone players like the plague. Literally, it was what I've been dealing with a lot of United players over the years. I can't handle this. I literally can't handle that. I don't want any more of these injury-prone players. Let me put this up here and do it this way. So let me bring this up on the screen here. Let me look. So look at this. Douglas Luiz injury history. I will read these to you. He's had a ton of freaking issues this season. And we've talked about this before a couple months ago when we were first linked. So he had his first he had a bunch of muscle injuries way back when he was still with Girona. Missed about 5 matches at Aston Villa a couple years back with hamstrings, and then he joined Juventus, and then it was just all these muscle issues, muscular problems, muscle fatigue, hamstring muscle injury. He's missed literally 20 matches for Juventus, and he just joined them last summer. So I'm definitely done with that. I don't need to see any more of that. That literally is my first stop. Like, that's like buying a house. If I see pictures of a house that I'm looking at and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I see it's got like a swimming pool, like a built-in swimming pool. I'm like, nope, we're done. I don't want to take care of a swimming pool. I don't want to deal with that. Deal breaker. I don't care about anything else. I don't want to deal with that shit. Sammy says, when was the last time a striker had the number 20 and 32 playing for Man? You like when one striker had both numbers? Is that what you're asking? Because I don't remember. Like, I know that there's 2 strikers I can think of that had number 20 and number 32, but are you asking for one striker that had both? Let me know. Danny says, I prefer a Hackney or a Statch. The injuries Douglas Luiz had me worried with his wages. Yeah, I didn't even look at the wages, Danny. Like I said, I looked at the injuries, and that was all I needed to see. I don't care about the wages. I don't care if he's only on like 20K a week. I'm not like, it's not, it doesn't matter because you're going to be paying 20K a week for him to be injured half the time, statistically speaking. The hamstrings don't really get better. They really only get worse. If he was working like IT for Dell or something, or being customer service for Best Buy, it wouldn't matter. But your career, your day-to-day is 100 times more stress and exertion on your legs than a normal person will. So it's not like you're going to ever give your legs time to really recover fully. So I'm good with it. I'm done. If we're looking at midfielders, Juventus want to throw us Koopmeiners. I'll take that in a heartbeat. I've let Koopmeiners since he was still in the Eredivisie. That dude is an absolute baller. But I just can't think of any other Juventus players off the top of my head that I'm like, yep, I want them. If we're looking at midfielders, Koopmeiners is levels ahead of Douglas Luiz. Now people will say, well, he's Premier League proven. I don't care about that. You guys know I don't really care about that as much. There's a lot of players who came here from other leagues that have done just fine. Look at Bruno Fernandes. Like, it's just the way it works sometimes. If you're a good player, it doesn't matter. Shahid wants Vlahovic. I've never and I respect that. I've never been fully 100% sold on Vlahovic personally. I never quite got the hype. How many goals has he scored last year? Because he didn't score a ton last year. Let me see. Looking it up. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. So he had, let me see here, 17 goals last year, 5 assists, 18 goals. And this is in all comps, by the way. So 10 league goals in Serie A, 4 assists in Serie A. Season before that, 16 goals, Serie A. Season before that, 10 goals, 9 goals in all comps between that. Like that, he had 2 really good seasons at Fiorentina, really a season and a half because he left. And then as soon as he went to Juventus, his numbers dipped. I've never been completely sold on Vlahovic personally. And he's on a lot of money. He's on like over 300K a week. So it's definitely a no for me, but I appreciate the opinion, man. This doesn't mean saying you're wrong. This is me just saying I personally wouldn't take Vlahovic, but it is what it is. Then he says, Hackney, hence someone likes that. I already read that one, my bad. Box says, I don't like swap deals. Usually always rejects. I mean, yeah, we got burned by that Sanchez Mkhitaryan deal. In this case, it would just depend on the player, and Juventus don't have a lot of players that I would absolutely like burst down the door to get, other than Coop Miners. I'd take Coop Miners. That's about it, personally. So and then they're not going to do a swap for Coop Miners. They're just not. He's worth twice as much as Sancho is, so it ain't got to be it. Oh yeah, I forgot about him. That would be the other one I would take, Kefren Turam. I was watching him a while back when he was still playing in the French league, Kefren Turam. Let me see what his numbers are looking like these days. I want to see what this, because it's him, Manu Kone I really like. There's just these like ball carrying, ball progression monsters in midfield. Kefren Turam was an absolute baller though in the French league. Let me see what he's doing at. Is he related to Marcus Thuram? Is that his brother? Yeah, dude, Kefren Turam, absolute beast. Progressive carries and take-ons are literally top 5%. But that's basically what we were hoping that Kabi could turn into. So maybe we've already got a Kefren Turam kind of regen in Kabi if he can bulk up a little bit. So Danny says, me either. Rather keep Rasmus over. Oh, no, Rasmus. Danny, do one of them fireworks hit you in the head, my guy? No, I agree. I just don't think it's because I don't know what Rasmus is on wages-wise, but you're going to be spending, 3 times as much in wages just to basically get an older version of Rasmus Højlund. So I'm good with it. I don't need that. Nubis would take Yildiz. Yeah, I like Yildiz a lot. Right now, I don't know if that's a position we're like screaming out for depth-wise. So I feel like it would be. Plus, they're never going to swap him for Sancho. But I hear you. Box says they tried offering Timmy Way. Is that the other name I forgot? Yeah, no, F that. As a U.S. citizen watching the United States men's national team, like I remember that qualifier way. I'm like, when he got red carded, it was like a year ago. He punched this guy in the face on the pitch, and I'm like, and he got red carded, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? You realize that there are cameras literally everywhere. Even without VAR, you would have been banned. Like I've never been super sold on Timothy Weah personally. But again, that's just my opinion. So I liked Locatelli. I haven't watched enough of him recently to see if Locatelli's still doing it. I know he was an absolute baller, but I like Coop Miners a little bit more than Locatelli. He's a little bit more mobile, a little bit more up and down, covers a little bit more ground. Locatelli is definitely a more of a holding player, but I like both. But Box says, I miss the days of Fellaini. Is that who this shirt reminds you of, Box? Is that why you said that? Let me know. He's retired now, right? He retired 6, 7, 8 months ago, if I remember correctly. After he went to China, right? Shanghai. Was he at Shanghai Xinhua? Is that where he went to? I don't remember now, but let me put this in a poll since let me see what you guys said about this. 140 million. So most of you say we could probably get more than 140 million or 140 million for all those. So that's winning the poll. I'm going to put this other one in a poll here while we sit on this topic for a second. How's everybody doing on a Friday? It's Friday, isn't it? Man, is it Friday? It's Friday, right? Is it Saturday? I don't remember, man. Days are blurring together this week because it's all holidays. Not really any clients this week because everyone just goes out of town and stuff. So these days are just kind of blurring together. But Buck says, yeah, he had the best chest control I have ever seen in my life. Cobby came close last season. Remember, there was a long ball that came out from defense. I think it was from Licha. And Cobby kind of was looking back towards defense and like took it down on his chest, like sideways on the run, and let it kind of bounce into his path. And I was like, he has no right, this teenager, taking the ball down like that on his chest on the run, and then like fluidly, so silky, just keep on carrying it. There's no way. Danny says we have Zerkamp. Xerxes, and I know it. Oh boy. But yeah, let me know if you would swap Sancho for Douglas Luiz. It's definitely a no for me on just strictly injuries alone. I haven't even looked at his wages. What is he on? 70. That was at Aston Villa. Let me see what he's on Serie A here. So, come on, hurry up. Oh, he's not on that. His wages aren't that bad. According to Capology, he's on 160k euros a week with a 17.8k bonus. And so whatever 178k a week is in euros, 178k euros to pounds. What is that equal to here? So he's only on about 155k a week, Douglas Luiz, which isn't bad. And that's including bonuses. So it's not horrible. It's definitely more doable than Vlahovic again, but you're paying 150k on a guy who missed 20 matches last year in Serie A with issues that aren't going to go away. And that's like, you can say, okay, he's got issues, but then you have to add in the extra factor of our physio department and the absolute insanity and ineptitude and incompetence that goes on in our medical facilities. And you have to say, going to our medical facilities, even with a little bit of like ankle issue or a little bit of strain, is literally like coming down with a cold in like the 1700s. It's literally just, well, nice knowing you. Lived to the ripe old age of 18. Sorry, guys. Midlife crisis at age 10 back in those days. That's literally what it's like. Like, you literally die of dysentery. It's Oregon Trail every single day if you pick up an injury at United. Why are so many players having to go get their second opinions elsewhere? Casemiro had to go get a second opinion on his issues. Oh, boy. Samuel says, I would swap Jadon Sancho for Francisco Conceição for cash and money. Isn't he on loan? Like, I think he's on loan, isn't he? Let me remember here. Conceição. What we got here? Is he related to the manager here? Yeah, he's on loan from Porto. Did they make that permanent, though? I'm going to go look this up real quick. Hold up. Let me see. They have, both clubs have drafted a gentleman's agreement where Juventus would have the priority to trigger his 30 million euro release clause in June. So they have to trigger this release clause. They already paid 7 million euro loan fee plus 3 million in add-on. So did they trigger that clause, I wonder? It looks like they're working on it according to some outlets, but they haven't done that. It looks like Porto are kind of sticking with their demands and that. So that one isn't actually official yet, but no, he is a decent player. I remember when he was playing, this the guy who was at Brighton, right? He was at, so you'll know this as we go through my old scouting reports in a couple of days, but I did a scouting report on Conceição when he was still back at Ajax. So you guys will see that in a couple of days. But good shout. Box says shouting for Buffon. Nice. And it says, how about a cheap bid for Matthias Fernandes instead of Ndidi? Do you see them rumors? That's the guy at Southampton that I said I would buy, right? If Southampton got relegated. Remember, we did that video from relegated clubs who we would get, and he was one of them. I think he's an excellent player personally. Yeah, his father was AC. He was also Porto manager as well. That's why I remember that. So that's probably why that's going on. Danny, I haven't seen any rumors on Matthias Fernandes. Is that the same one though? That you're talking about? So let me see. Matthias Fernandes, Man United. Oops, I gotta spell it right, Sean. There we go. I haven't seen what rumors are you? I haven't seen anything on him today. What rumors are you seeing here? Let me look it up. We can do this while we're live. It's awesome. So, oh, Juventus are maybe looking at him. That's what the thing is. So, yeah, it sounds like they could be bringing. He's a good player. I like him a lot. He's another one who was at Sporting. I think he and Amorim might have kind of overlapped a little bit, but yeah, he's definitely one that I scouted in that video a while back. If you guys remember that, go check that out. Obviously, a little moot now, but it is what it is. What are you guys saying here? Swapping here. So 71% of you would not take Douglas Luiz. Yeah, I think maybe some of you are starting to realize that we can't take injury-prone players here at United. We've been burned. We don't trust our medical staff. And it's, pick one, right? Boxes us off 5 million fee for Ndidi was mooted. Yeah, I saw that earlier today. Somebody linking us with Ndidi again. I saw somebody linking us with Kudus again. It's just they're lazy links. They're just like, yeah, this is a player that United were linked in the past. He has this release clause. Let's throw out the fact that United were linked him in the past. That'll get clicks, basically. That's basically how that works. Nubis Kubis says, talking about buying new players is a depressing subject, especially when Mbeumo's deal is still not complete. United needs to sell in order to buy. It's going to be August before United sign a new striker. I honestly don't even know. I couldn't tell you what the striker situation is, man. I really couldn't tell you what's going on with any of this shit today. We knew that Cunha and Mbeumo, and we've been linked. It seems like we do want a striker. I just couldn't tell you what sort of striker we're looking at. We're linked to Delap. We're looking at Gyökeres and stuff. I get worried because they're very different types of strikers, right? And so maybe within the striker situation, there's like a plan A and plan B, not as a first choice, second choice, but in more of a do we prioritize midfielder and maybe take a little bit like money away from that striker pool, which is where the Delap came in, or do we prioritize a striker and then go for a cheaper midfield option? That's what I mean by plan A, plan B, not first choice, second choice, if that makes sense. But I hear you, man. I know a lot of us are getting a little impatient about that. We did that poll yesterday, and that video was with, what's been more frustrating, the lack of signings or the lack of sales? And a lot of you guys said the lack of sales. So refresher, big up. Welcome to the channel. Premier League needs two-tier system like MLS League, such a competitive league. Too many teams all looking the same. Yeah, I don't watch a ton of MLS personally. I don't find the quality of football in the MLS great. I watched it a little more maybe like 10 years ago or so, but the games are typically like a lot of them don't kick off till later on in the day. And by then I'm already kind of doing other stuff. There are some MLS games that don't kick off for me until like 10 p.m. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. MLS is weird. They've got the two conferences and stuff. So not every team ends up really even playing each other, which is kind of like how American sports does it in general. You can go all the way to the Super Bowl without playing half the teams in the NFL. It's really weird. This is why I like this. I feel the same way about the Champions League sometimes and just cup competition. I'm not saying I don't value them, but you don't even have to play the toughest teams in the Champions League to get to the final. You don't. Just by the luck of the draw, you might not have to play anybody difficult. Like it can happen. In the league, you've got to play everybody twice. There's no hiding. There's no running. It's a marathon. And so I hear you though. I don't like the idea of tinkering with the way the league is. I think that there's enough tinkering already with VAR and stuff like that. I think just leave it the way it is. They're already starting like these interviews on the sidelines, interviews in the dressing rooms, interviewing players who get subbed off. Like I'm sure it's going to make for entertainment, but at the same time, I don't see it going well, but we'll see. But welcome to the channel, man. Good to have a fresh face in here. Nuba says, do you think United fans will get angry if Ineos decided to take youth's route, signing young players, promote youth players for this season if they can't buy top targets? I think they would. I think I could see a lot of United fans being angry, but I don't think it would be. It would be more directed at the lack of signings and less directed at the youth being promoted, if that makes sense. I think we all want and trust and love the fact that this club is built on promoting youth and encouraging and building that. We love that. We've talked about that many times on this channel. Our academy is great. We've scouted so many young players on this channel, like teenagers left and right. I've got another one for you today we're going to talk about here in a little bit. So I don't mind that, but we've seen like what Arsenal are doing where, that's kind of the route they took under Arteta. And it's led, you see Arsenal fans now, they're starting to get really frustrated. And now Arsenal are starting to learn you can't do that. So a lot of these midfielders they've signed are older players. Your Zubamendes, your Marinos, these guys are older. Norgard, because you can't just only rely on young players who have no experience pushing for titles. They have no experience being in that. A lot of them didn't even have Champions League experience. And so you have to have a good blend of both. So I don't think people would be mad that we would promote you. I think they'd be mad that we didn't sign enough players, if that makes sense. But good question. Good question. I like to see it. What are you guys saying here in this poll? Yeah, still 71-29. Sounds like you guys are just kind of not having that. So I'm going to take this off the screen now that we're not talking about this cat anymore. I hope, though, that if we did sign Douglas Luiz, I hope that we wouldn't have to take his girlfriend as a package deal, because those two have gone from Villa together to Juventus together, and I just don't think she's that good, Alicia Lehmann. Personally, I just don't think she's that good. I've seen her play, and I'm like, I don't see why she's hyped up as much. She seems to just get into fights with people all the time. So what are you going to do, though? I'm sure there are a lot of United fans who would say, yeah, bring Alicia Lehmann to the club. I'm sure you'd see the women's team attendance skyrocket if that's the case. No offense. I know there's a big portion of football fans who rate Alicia Lehmann not for her footballing ability. I just don't rate her footballing ability that highly personally. But those two have, it's like they've traveled together. It's like Mourinho and Nemanja Matic, man. Everywhere Mourinho goes and Matic follows. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to end that poll real quick. So moving on, keepers. United may have found a new backup keeper in Botafogo's John Victor. Saw him linked a little bit last week. Sorry, I'm going to move this. There we go. But according to Andre Hernan, we've reignited our interest and have initiated fresh talks. So we reportedly had a scout in attendance during a recent Botafogo match as well. His representatives have reportedly, according to some outlets, confirmed United's interest, and apparently an official proposal could be incoming. He's got a £5.8 million release clause. These are his numbers from last season, John Victor. So he's 29. You can see with the defensive actions outside the penalty area and the average distance of defensive actions that he is more of a sweeper keeper. He is not afraid to come off his line. Save percentage is actually very good. 80% save percentage is in the top 6%. So very, very good. Post shots expected goal versus goals allowed is very good as well. That means the XG of the shots that you face compared to the shots that you've actually allowed to go past you, if that number is obviously high, it's very good. That means these shots are supposed to go in and you're keeping them out. So very good numbers there. I don't have a problem with sweeper keepers if you're comfortable with it. We saw Onana try to do that sweeper keeper thing a couple of times, and he just doesn't look up with it. Again, what I think here is that this guy is a buy and deal replacement. I don't see him as the Onana replacement. Now, we've seen a lot of those reports that maybe we weren't actively looking at getting a Onana. We were definitely looking at bringing a number 2 keeper. That's the talk coming out of all the outlets recently. But you know what that means also is we're going to be stuck with Onono in goal probably for another year at least, just to maybe go into that another year, maybe we can maybe squeeze by on PSR. I don't care about PSR. He's going to cost us more money-wise with the points that he cost us and the trophies that he cost us, and he is PSR-wise. So saving 10 million PSR is not going to help us with how much he's going to cost us. He'll literally cost us like a half a dozen spots in the table. He literally will, and that is worth more than anything you're going to lose on PSR if that's how the club is looking at it. Anyone want to predict how many points he's going to cost us this season? It's freaking ridiculous, man. Danny is not sold on John Victor. Again, he's probably going to be backup. He's 29. He's got a low release clause. He's coming from Botafogo. You don't get a 29-year-old from Botafogo as your starting keeper. It just doesn't happen. So it's just a matter of getting rid of Bayindir. And so we'll see what happens with Bayindir, but who knows? Danny B says he's 50-50 on corners. Yeah. And that's not bad. Average is not bad at all. I like the green numbers. Obviously, we all like to see the green numbers when we look at percentiles. You're about to see a ton of them in this scouting report we're about to do on this youngster. But greens just means you're well above average, but there's nothing wrong with being average when it comes to those numbers. Nothing wrong with it at all. No one's going to be like well above average on all these metrics, especially keepers. No one is a sweeper and a box commander and a shot stopper and a penalty saver and a distributor. No one is all those things as a keeper. You're going to be maybe like a 3 out of 5 on a couple, maybe a 4 or even a 5 out of 5 on like one of those. And you're probably going to be like a 2 on like another thing. Like it just is what it is. You can't have it all. So you're not creating a player in FC25 and you're just throwing all the attributes up to 99. That no one, don't do that. Don't be that guy. Come on. Samuel says, don't you think that systems has killed Premier League footballers and playing wingbacks instead of wingers? The 2009-10 league was awesome and good to watch. I think that some systems can be a little bit too rigid. I do think Pep Guardiola's system has taken all of the flair and the joga bonito out of football in many regards. I do think that maybe, and I've seen people argue that data and statistics has kind of hurt that as well because people are looking more at the numbers than they are the player. I hear all the arguments. I hear all sides. There's got to be a happy compromise in there somewhere. At United, we know we love to see, free flow and attacking football, but at the same time, I do like to see a little bit more of tactical nous in there. I do like, it doesn't have to go the complete, Louis van Gaal route where it's so patient and so boring that and everything is just so high percentage pass, high percentage shot. But I think there's a happy medium in there. I was hoping that Ten Hag was that happy medium. If you watch Ten Hag's Ajax side before he got to United, it was beautiful. They played counterattacking football. There were a lot of passes and triangles, but they were quick. They were fast. The problem was his players at Ajax were so used to that, and they were better at that than these counterattacking players that we had at United, and everything completely fell apart. So that's why I was so excited for Ten Hag, but then it just didn't end up working out because whatever we want to get into with that one. But I hear you, man. It's good. Got good questions tonight, you guys. Big up. Mox says, I wonder if Vitek will go on the tour or will he stay behind at Carrington in the outcast squad? If we don't bring Vitek on the tour and start him, Onana is the one who should be staying home. He doesn't need to go. I'm not saying that just to be mean. What do you need to go for? I want Amorim to get a good look at Vitek. Vitek played one preseason match last summer against Rosenborg. We won 1-0. There were no, we would lose. I can't remember that off the top of my head, but he was arguably the best player we had on the pitch in that match. He was very, very good. He stood out at BW Linz last season. He was an excellent player. So I think that he could, he's older than De Gea was when we signed De Gea. I think that he could do it. So it's not up to me though. We've talked about that a couple times, but it is what it is. Bach says, Neom, the Saudi club linked with Onana, signed Bonk. Yeah, I did see that. What are you going to do, man? That's such a weird move. I don't know why he's got to get that money, I guess, man. Danny says, we talked about Victor around this time last year on the channel. I feel like we did. It's so hard for me to remember all these little scouting reports and all these little rumors and stuff. There have probably been players that we've been linked with that we've discussed that I completely forgot that we've even discussed on the channel. I have to really try hard to remember some of them, but it's just the way it is with me sometimes. It's like cramming for a test. I get it all for the amount of time that I need it, and then I let it go. I let it do its thing. I only got so much hard drive space up here. Sam says, current football coaches and football managers should let footballers play with confidence, flair, swagger, and tech. Yeah, I think it's both, right? You want to, because there's no point in getting manager then if you're just going to do that because, managers have their way of seeing football. So the same way that the players, Samuel, see the game and play the game and think the game should be played, that's how the managers are too. And the manager's in charge. So that's just the way it is. There is a way to harness that, and maybe there's a potential for managers to add a couple more traits to each player, especially the young players when they're so young. It's great if you're naturally fast or if you're naturally techie. But if you can add a little bit more positional awareness, a little more discipline, a little bit more off the ball work as well, tactical awareness and whatnot, then and add that to the natural gifts you already have, you're going to have a baller. And that's what coaches really have to do as well. That's a big part of it. So I hear you though. It's hard to find the compromise there. It probably looks different for every manager, every player, every club, every generation really in football is going to look different. But, it's just, you hope that you get at least some of the planets aligning at your club at the right time in order to get them. I don't think it's ever always going to be 100% at any given time. So you hope for the best. That's all you can do, man. But good thoughts tonight from you guys. Bach says the trouble with a lot of managers follow the trends. We don't see many distinct differences in style, tactics, and philosophy anymore. I mean, you put Ollie up against Pep Guardiola, and you're going to see a distinct difference in style. And Ollie definitely had Pep's number when he was at United. So, Katu, welcome back. I trusted Ten Hag until almost the end, but felt like he left his philosophy almost at the beginning. Danny's ears are pricking up. Hopefully that makes a difference with Amorim. Well, we know that Amorim has not deviated. He's done his thing. System. I think a big part of Amorim's hurdles that he had to get over with this squad was just finding a way to get around the complete lack of physicality by just without a whole lot of time to train. A lot of the players he inherited just weren't that physical. They weren't ready to do that kind of demanding sacrifice off the ball work. And unfortunately, we lost. Now, I don't think he helped himself with a lot of his team selection at times, especially like in that final, but it is what it is, man. Bach says bring back Ollie. Ollie, if you guys remember a long time ago, Ollie was my shout for next England manager when Southgate left. I thought that the way Ollie plays, the amount of time he spent in England and stuff, and the relationship he had with a lot of those English players, I think would have made him a good fit for that. He plays excellent football. It doesn't require a ton of training pitch time, if that makes sense, because it's counterattacking football. It's high pressing. And I think that could have been a good fit, but what do I know? What are you going to do? But let's do this scouting report real quick. And I want to talk to you about some of this FFP shit that I've seen going around, you guys. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Remember, today is the last day, 25% only day, 24 hours in the United vs. Everybody store. Everything 25% off. And all the proceeds for the next couple months do go to charity. So keep that in mind. No pressure at all, but keep that in mind as well. Wanted to celebrate Independence Day. So let's do a scouting report, you guys. So let's talk a little bit about Noah Adedeji Sternberg. Some of you guys are like, what? Told you guys, I watch Belgian football, and this dude is a baller. Plays for Genk. Plays on the left wing, 20 years old. The dude is a little baller, man. Dribbling on point, chance creation on point, work rate on point, ball progression, physicality. The guy is got it all. Came through the youth ranks of Borussia Mönchengladbach before joining Genk a few seasons ago. But after just a couple of matches for the under-23s at Genk, he was promoted to the first team, scored in his debut for the youth team, but he hasn't looked back since. The kid is absolutely a baller. For a 20-year-old in his first season, doing well. 5 goals, 4 assists in all comps. 4 goals, 4 assists in just 8 starts in the league. With an average of 29 minutes per match, he's used a lot as a sub. An average of 29 minutes per match, getting 8 goal involvements in just 8 starts is excellent for a young player. He's got 4 big chance created as well. Very, very, very good young player. Sorry, let me bring this up here. Right-footed, so he plays on the left wing, but he's right-footed. And you can see he takes the corners as well from the heat map. Likes to cut inside, likes to get touches. He's very, very good at carrying that ball into the box. He's exactly like, he reminds me a lot of Amad Diallo, just an Amad who plays on the left-hand side, basically. He can also play on the right. He can also play as a 10 as well, but he typically lines up on that left where he can cut inside and get shots off, carry the ball to that byline and flash it across goal. And if you watch him play, the kid's got absolute excellent footballing IQ, man. He can read the game. It enables him to be such an effective playmaker, creative outlet as well. He's such a good player. 6 foot, so he's got a very, very solid frame, which also contributes to these physical numbers. Let's look at his numbers, shall we? I told you guys about those green numbers, and I did not lie. His everything is green aside from progressive passes, and that's because he just carries the ball on his own. He can beat literally everybody. Look at those freaking numbers. Literally one number that's not green, and it's still not even a bad number. It's 2.74 progressive passes. Like, the guy's a beast. Look at all this. I don't want to read them all, because, like, what's the point? What's the point of reading them all? Just assume everything is in, like, the top 10%. Danny, have you ever seen that many freaking green numbers on a player who's 20 years old? This is numbers comparing him to the top 5 leagues for left wingers. That's for even just wingers in general. That is how much of a baller this kid is. But again, he's 6 foot at 20 years old. kind of like Cheeto, he's got the physicality already. He's got press resistance. I've seen him hold off players. I've seen him spin players. I've seen him ride challenges as well. But he's so techie too, like a young Benzema or something. He's very techie on the ball. I've seen him use heel chops to just like no-look heel chops to his teammates, nutmegging defenders in 1v1s to get that ball to the byline too. Absolute fucking baller. Like, I can't speak more highly. So who's the player he's going to have to replace? He's going to be replacing Alejandro Garnacho. If, like, I'm not saying United linked. I'm just saying that's who you're playing. Let's look at his numbers, how he stacks up to Garnacho. Yeah. Sternberg's in the red. Garnacho's in the blue. Literally, he eats Garnacho's numbers whole for dinner. It's like Garnacho's numbers fell into the Sarlacc pit. Star Wars. He's absolutely a baller. Buck says that name would cost a lot to get on the back of a shirt. Oh man. Yeah. Danny says Vavell has his eyes on him, I bet. If he doesn't, we're stupid, because this kid's an absolute beast. You guys, go watch more Belgian football. Arden Yashari, De Kuipers, Skull of Osen, Doué came from that league too. Like, go watch these players, man. Aroka Dere, yeah, we did a scouting report on him a couple weeks ago when we were linked, dude. Absolute baller. Nuba says, how about his teammate, Konstantinos Karetsis? We did a little mini scouting report on him when we were linked to him like, 4, 5, 6 months ago? I don't remember off the top of my head now. There's so many good players out there, you guys. Danny said, kid's a gem. Dude, this kid, I mean, like, I gotta put this back up again. Have you seen so much green in your life, man? This is ridiculous how much freaking green is on that thing. Like, this kid, like, now he plays wide. You can see he hugs that touchline, but I think he's still young. We could do like what we were trying to do with Garnacho and just play him in that, in that one of those 10 roles and let him rotate in. Problem is, you still got Mount there. We have Xerxes there as well. It's hard to see who we get rid of and who, but I would absolutely pay it. So his contract is up in a year as well. Genk do have an option to extend by a year, but I would love us to go for this kid. He's an absolute beast. Nuba says, these are the type of signings that I want United to do. Unfortunately, the management are not that smart. They always show interest once the players are already playing for a club like Brighton. Well, we are, I think this is like the medium between, like you're saying, waiting for someone like Baleba or Caicedo when he went to Brighton. And then also the next step, like the middle ground between getting someone like Cheeto or Heaven or Lucele who are at academies. This is like the next step. This is like your Nippon signing, your Mastantuono signings, your Mora level signings, your youngsters who are playing first team football and balling out. As, these are the kind of players we should be going for personally. I like this kid a lot. Like I said, I watch a lot of Belgian football. You guys know, I was waving that Arden Yashari flag for the last 7 months because the dude is an absolute beast. But this kid is going to be a baller. You're going to see his name in the next several years. People are going to be talking about him like they're talking about Nico Williams. Probably, I've already seen him being compared by Genk fans to like Lamine Yamal and stuff. The kid's a beast, like an absolute beast. So keep an eye on him. Noah Adedeji Sternberg balling out in the Belgian league for Genk. I'm sure you guys, if you guys get ESPN Plus, go watch the Belgian league because you can watch it there. But did I do good on that one? We'll be coming back in 2 years and calling him a hit or calling him a miss. You guys let me know what you think about that, because I'm excited for that kid. Did you see this report from Ben Jacobs today about Chelsea, Aston Villa, Barcelona, and Olympique Lyon all being officially fined for breaching FFP regulations? Have you guys seen this? So Chelsea apparently had a 4-year settlement and a total fine of 80 million euros, of which I guess 20 million euros is unconditional. So maybe they could get out of that. I don't know. So Villa, 3-year settlement, 20 million euro fine, 5 million is unconditional. Barcelona, 2-year settlement, 60 million euro fine, 15 million unconditional. And Lyon, 4-year settlement, 50 million euro fine, 12.5 million unconditional. This is ridiculous. So Chelsea and Villa have also apparently breached the squad. There's a rule you have to have, like a certain amount of your fund can go to the cost of your squad. Some of it has to go to other things, but apparently Chelsea and Villa breached that rule. They've had a squad cost ratio above 80% for the year 2024, and that's breaking the rules. Again, you're not supposed to have that much of it going towards the cost of your squad, and that is the rule. Some people will say the rule is trying to punish. The rule is it's in essence, I'm not saying this is what it still is, but in essence, the rule in theory is meant to protect clubs from spending beyond their means. It's like when I was on the board for Livonia City and I'm doing research, because I take my any role I take on, I take very seriously. I want to make sure I'm doing well. The research showed that you don't want more than like 15, 20% or so of your income to only be coming from sponsors, because you don't want to have to turn around one day and lose those sponsors and be completely broke, which is a big part of what happened to Livonia City. And so you can't have that. Now, I'm not at a club like United and stuff. That doesn't matter as much because we make a lot more money. But why that they don't want you to spend more money on these players, because what happens, this is what happens. It's so interesting. Again, the guaranteed fines. Again, they're going to be paying a minimum $20 million unconditionally, and Villa have the $5 million unconditional stuff. So we'll see how that goes. But I told you, clubs. FFP, PSR, it's starting to come down hard on clubs. You're going to see a shift in the way clubs spend and sell. You're also going to see a shift in the way clubs do business. We've already talked about the Elliot Anderson Vlachodimos deal and how that was basically a huge circumvention of the PSR regulations, because Elliot Anderson was not worth what Forest paid. Vlachodimos not worth what Newcastle paid, but that's how they got around the PSR regulations. So Nubis says, as a winger, he is quite tall. Most of the wingers are short, high center of gravity. Ahmad is like 10 centimeters shorter than Noah. Yeah. But watch this kid play. Watch his footwork, watch his press resistance, watch his ability. He rides tackles like you see the shorter players do. He can ride that very well. But the way he runs too, and the way he runs when he's squared up 1v1, the way he moves, he gets pretty low. So he lowers his center of gravity and use a bit of that explosive acceleration when he's using a bit of trick. Like I said, I've seen him nutmeg these fools. I've seen him do no-look heel chops to his teammates. The guy he's got that like confidence and that precociousness that I love to see young players have. But he's good. So yeah, everybody getting done for FFP. We already knew Barcelona were getting boned. Lyon got boned. Their relegation is pending because they've been relegated, but they're allowed to appeal the process. Villa, Chelsea, we knew Villa were getting boned too. So I don't know what Villa are going to do. Emery, I think Emery could walk before he gets sacked if Villa can't dig themselves out of this PSR hole. I don't know what their academy setup is like. I doubt that they'd want to sell any of their main players. I would take Boubacar Kamara in a heartbeat if they need some money. I'll throw you some money for Boubacar Kamara, man. We'll even throw in a Collier. We'll throw in who else? We'll throw in a Casemiro and a Collier and give us Boubacar Kamara if you guys want to. We'll give you a twofer. But Kamara was a baller, dude. So Derek Martin, welcome to the channel. Good to see a new face. Thanks. Your show helps people to be a lawyer intern to be successful. Cool. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you heard me talking about Suits. I've never seen Suits before. I started binging it this week because I've heard a lot of people talk about Suits. But now I feel like I could be a lawyer. I feel like a veterinarian, like legally, because my dogs have had so many issues over the last 8 or 9 years. And I've learned so much. Like, nobody should have to know what copper hepatopathy is for a dog. I know what copper hepatopathy is. I've spoken to veterinarians who don't know what that is. I have to tell them, like, this is what my dog diagnosed with. And they're like, oh, all right. Never heard of that. And I'm like, yeah, but this is what I do, man. But big up, Derek. Hope you're doing well, man. Nubis says, Madrid already started this a few seasons ago. Free agents, sign wonder kids, etc. For some reason, United are allergic to signing free agents. Kamara, don't get me started on the Boubacar Kamara stuff. This was way before I had a channel, but I was waving that Boubacar Kamara on a free flag when he was at Olympique Marseille because he was an absolute beast. He was exactly what we needed. He was captaining that Marseille side as a teenager, similar to Ruben Neves was doing at Porto. Like, the kid was an absolute beast. To Marcus Thuram, I said the same thing about Marcus Thuram when Ronaldo threw his little hissy fit. I said in that January we should have spent a little bit more money and got him on a full transfer. He was available for free, but instead we got Wout Weghorst. So Derek says, I hope your life will be blessed with happiness. Well, big up, Derek. Absolute class act you are. Thank you for checking out the channel, my friend. Appreciate that. Nothing but love. Danny, why do you got to make me cry, dude? Why are you doing this to me? I'm thankful that you guys have not mentioned "He Who Shall Not Be Named" because you literally will see me cry on a 4th of July. We can't do that, but Bashali was definitely one that got away, in my opinion. But yeah, so far United are doing just fine. People are like, why are United allowed to do stuff? Because they have debt in this. A, we service our debt. Like, that's what it is. And B, we don't fuck around with PSR. We just sell players we don't want to sell to make up for it because that's just the way we do things. So what are you going to do though, man? But that's it for me, you guys. Not a ton to go over. Obviously, the big news coming from Ben Jacobs is 5 players have told United they want to leave, but these are the same 5 players who were literally, for lack of a better term, have been told literally in some cases that they need to find a new club. So it's just funny. It's literally like being like quitting after you've been fired. Like, yeah, okay, cool. That's fine. Have a good one. Let me know what you think about maybe a Sancho Douglas Luiz swap. Let me know what you think might happen with Rashford now that Nico Williams has signed a long-term contract with Athletic Bilbao and did not go to Barcelona. Could he go to Bayern, Rashford? Could he go to Barcelona? Will he get his dream move? Who knows? And what do you think might happen with some of these players that we are looking to get rid of? But I appreciate everybody. Nubis, I don't break the news. I wait till the end of the day to see what all the news has been. I kind of put it all together in a presentation, and then we kind of talk about it. So you'll never hear me claim to break the news. I'm always just here to get your guys' thoughts on the news. So basically just imagine like we're chilling at a pub talking about shit. So in any case, you guys, make sure you hit that like button for me. Make sure you subscribe on your way out. We are on the road to 3K. Love to see us get there before the transfer window closes. I'm putting out that challenge. It is the last day for 25% off in the United vs. Everybody store. There's a link in the description, or if it's not in the description, it should be at the channel's main page, but there is a link there. Go check that out, see if you want anything. And anything that you guys do buy, any super chats or anything like that, that goes to charity for the next couple months. My wife's shelter is part of a big animal welfare foundation fundraiser, and so I've told her I would definitely contribute anything that we get. So a couple of you have contributed. Awesome. No pressure, but if you can't contribute yourself or you're just not, it's not something that's on your heart, no worries there, no judgment. Maybe consider sharing the link as well. The link is in the video description. But Nuba says, I meant Ben Jacob, Fabrizio Romano. We all know these 5. But yeah, and that's basically what I've been saying, man. And we kind of tease them a little bit for saying that they want to leave when they've basically all been told they're to fuck off. So, but big up everybody for jumping in. Thank you guys for checking out the channel, everyone who is new. Of course, we will be back with any news to get your thoughts. But until then, enjoy the rest of your night. If you are celebrating 4th of July, be safe. Remember, alcohol, fireworks do not mix well. So be safe. Enjoy your night, you guys. Thank you for checking it out. And I will see you guys on the next one. Take it easy.